How's my lighting? Does it look sensual? Okay. I'm gonna bleep that out. I'm not supposed to swear anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 244. We're gonna call this one Buy More to Get Out of Debt. So, we're in the Vancouver room today because we're talking numbers again. Today, we're gonna try to get you out of debt. Today, we're gonna go through a scenario that's quite interesting that I don't know how often it's used, but I found it interesting. I've heard about this, not that this is a big find or anything, but a way to look at something and structure yourself moving forward. Because obviously, at the end of the day, we all want to end up with as many assets as possible, paying us every month so we can blissfully retire on a beach and still get paid to do so. So the first half of this is catered towards the elderly, people more around my age. I'm not gonna give you my age, but up around here, that mid, I'm gonna say I'm gonna live to 100, so mid is 50, so I'm nowhere near that.
You know, I found that comment to be very suspect.
But mid to high youth age. Of course, everyone says mortgage payments is the payment of good debt. When you buy assets, that's good debt as opposed to purchasing liabilities and TVs and consumer goods, which is bad debt on your credit card. So today we're going to do a little bit of a case study, as they used to call it in high school. So on how to get you out of debt faster, and out of debt meaning out of your principal resident mortgage debt faster by investing more. So some numbers today to start this plethora of numbers. Total Vancouver market, 10-year West Side market, generally speaking, has increased 45.1%. All markets there. The West Side housing market, single family, has increased 55.4%. The townhouse market has increased 85.7%, and the West Side apartment increase over the last 10 years is 88.6%. This is medium. I don't know how they get a 10-year of 45, which is lower than these three numbers, but that's what the board is giving me, and I'm using the stats today. So the plan is we're going to buy you an investment property, and we're going to do that so we can pay off your outstanding principal residence mortgage sooner. We're going to pick a 10-year window here. So step one, the situation, I like to call it. Al, did you ever watch Jersey Shore?
Heard of it.
Heard of it. Do you know who the situation is? The snituation?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's probably for the better. You're going to have to Google that after. So let's all say we're either a little bit older, or we came into some money, or we've worked really hard, and today we've got a $2 million house that we own and live in. It's a beautiful home. Good for you for doing so. Of the $2 million, you currently have $500,000 in mortgage outstanding, meaning you have $1.5 million in equity, you owe $500,000. So the second set of numbers here, you're paying $2,819.54 a month for that $500,000 outstanding at today's details, which is 5.5% interest rate. 5-year term, 30-year amortization. We're gonna look at, let's say we did a 10-year term. I'm just gonna break this up into two just for ease, and we're gonna have the same payments and the same structure for 10 years. After the first 5 years, this is where it gets depressing. You pay $38,078.78 off of your principal in 5 years. After the second set, so now you've got $462,000 in principal left from the $500,000. Same mortgage terms, same payment. The second year, as we know, the equilibrium shifts. When you get a brand new mortgage, the majority of your payments are interest, and a very minuscule piece monthly is paying your principal off, the principal being that $500,000 big lump that you owe. But the equilibrium shifts as we go further into the mortgage. So the first year you paid off $38,000, which is depressing, but that's what it is. The second year you paid off all the same structure, $49,946. So it's $10,000 better. The collective principal payoff in this structure over 10 years is just over $88,000. So that leaves you $411,000 of that $500,000 mortgage left. The extremely depressing part is your total payments over this 10 years has been $338,000, $344.80. to pay off $88,000 of principal. So you're getting goddamn hosed. But if you don't have the bank of mom and dad or any other loophole, you have to go to your bank and you have to break it down based on your income and how much they're willing to give you. And everyone looks at these monthlies. I can afford $2,819.54 a month. So I'm going to take the mortgage, even though after paying $338,000 in a decade, you've only paid off $88,000. They don't show you that part because that's the depressing part, and we're going to leave that there. And you can do an RBC mortgage calculator, which I personally always use. I'm sure there's a million of them. If you're looking at mortgages, yes, talk to your mortgage broker and specialist and bank, but plug the numbers into the calculator and just look at the sliding scale just to wrap your head around completely how much money they're making off of you. You are the asset here, people. They are making their monthly passive income off of you. Anyway, step 2, what are we going to do about it? We're going to put the details of this listing up on the screen. Al. This is a unit at the beloved Vancouver House, just to pick a building that everyone knows and might love. This is a 2-bedroom unit for $950,000. I believe they're currently overpriced, but I believe that that's a high but conservative number we could probably get this listing for. So $950,000, let's just say we have 30% to put down. So $950,000 purchase, you have $285,000 cash. Again, you've got a $2 million house, you only owe $500,000 left, and you have the luxurious position of having $285,000 of after Canadian personal income tax bracket cash sitting in your account. Now for $950,000, we also need to shell out $17,000 in property transfer tax because the government deserves it. So you are totaling $302,000 just to buy, okay? For the goddamn luxury to buy this listing on the 22nd floor of Vancouver House. Now, your mortgage is $665,000 because you're buying something which is $950,000. You're putting $285,000 down, so your 70% loan is $665,000. Same details as we put in the last 5.5%, 5-year term, 30-year amortization. $3,766 a month, okay? You've bought this investment unit now, $3,766 a month your mortgage costs you. Property tax broken down for the month, $254. You're gonna be able to do all this? Strata fee a month, this is ridiculous, but it is what it is. $790. This is a 778 square foot 2-bedroom home. It's a high strata fee. Anyway, the luxury of living at Vancouver House, West Bank's finest establishment. $790 a month for strata fee. Emergency, as you're a landlord now, you need to be ready for these sink breaks. You need these dryers. They're gonna get jammed. Emergencies are gonna happen. We could be more conservative, but we're gonna put $100 a month away for emergency use in case something hits the fan. So now your mortgage plus all the costs of the unit, you're at $4,910 a month. This listing agent, who will remain nameless, figures market rent for this unit as $3,900. I don't know if that's true, but let's take it at face value and assume it is. $4,910 of expense to own this beautiful unit, $3,900 back in rent. You are in the hole $1,010 a month. So you need to be able to afford your first mortgage payment, which is, as we know, $2,819.54 a month, and then cover the difference of your investment property at $1,010 a month. So you're buying a negatively cash flowing piece of real estate, which unfortunately is all too common in this amazing city we call home. However, most people look at the capital growth of said real estate and the trend we have seen, let's use the last 20 years, as worth feeding out an extra $1,000 a month into this investment. Now, if you by chance come into money along the way and you can tack onto your mortgage to try and get this to at least par so you're not paying anything a month, that's perfect world. God forbid we get a positively cash flowing piece of real estate, which in this case will take some time, but those are the numbers. So that's step 2. What are we going to do about it? you owe your money on the first house. We want to get your principal mortgage paid off, and we're going to buy a piece of real estate. Now, we could put that $300,000 right onto your principal, and then you'd only have a mortgage of $200,000 left, because we started with $500, as we know, and you could just go on your merry way, have a $200,000 mortgage, pay it off, and then you're good to go. But that would be boring, and that would not be structuring for the future. No one knows when they're going to die. So the more assets you have, the better. So we need to proactively think what the best thing to do is here. So what we're going to do is step 2, buy an investment property with the details I just said. Now, step 3. We're going to keep paying our principal mortgage. We're going to keep our tenants happy, or hopefully they're going to keep us happy. And we're going to let compounding quietly do its thing. And this is where it gets good. So now I'm speaking to the younger skew of the audience. Do you know what compounding means? So if we go back and we look at the Westside Apartments, we've averaged 8.86% of growth per year for the last 10 years. Okay? We're going to go a little bit more conservative, just pick the equal number of 5%. So, for you younger generations that may be watching, thank you for your patronage. And you may know the forces of compound interest from one of these things. Hide the number. Ye old credit card. This would be what our wonderful banks use to position compound interest against you. So I'm going to give you an example here of how it's going to work for us, but it is a double-edged sword depending what type of compound interest you are using. So back to our investment property. The property was purchased for $950,000. We're using a meager 5% conservative growth rate every year for the next 10 years, okay? So 950, year 1 is finished, everything is good, your tenant is great, your principal growth has increased by 5%, bringing your $950,000 asset up $47,500 to a new $997,000 and $997,500 market value, okay? We start year 2 with an asset now at $997,500, and we add 5%, which is another $49,875. So at the end of year 2, our asset is now worth $1,047,375. So see how that happened? 950 plus 5% equals 997. The first year we earned 5% growth on the 950. The second year we earned the 5% growth on the new 997,500. And that's what compound interest does. It takes the revised number and compounds the interest again and again and again. Back to the credit cards. You spend $950 on your card, to break this down, at not a 5% but a 19% annual interest rate against you. Let's say you didn't pay it off, and your interest rate is, well, if it was 5%, it'd be $47.50. And then your new loan, $997, add another $49.87, your new loan, $1,050. So as the interest mounts in this circumstance, on the real estate, the value of the real estate goes up. As the interest mounts on your credit card, the value of the credit card bill goes up, which is obviously working against you because you need to pay off said bill. In this case, we're allowing the interest to compound for us. It's getting paid. We're paying our $1,000 a month. We're going to work every day and living our lives anyway. We're doing our own thing with our principal residence, as we know, paying that $500,000 loan off a month. And while the life is happening and while the world turns, can you do a globe turning? We're testing the images today. This compounding is taking place. Now, is it going to go straight up exactly like this? No, but if we take a 10-year, I don't make the numbers up. This is all from the board. You could say the board is lying. I'm not going to look into that. But what we have seen from the board is 8.8% on average for apartments in the last 10. No, that does not mean we're going to get the exact same performance over the next 10, but all we can do is look back at what has been done, hope for a percentage of that. So it's been 8.86. I'm going to take 5, as we've seen here. And we're just going to go on our merry way. This is the proactive way. You could not do this. You could spend that original $302,000 that you spent on your 30% down payment plus PTT and just put it towards your principal and not take the risk of buying the investment property. But if you did take the risk at the cost of that down payment and purchasing costs and that additional $1,000 a month, let's fast forward 10 years. And the compounding that has taken place, where we started at a $950,000 asset value, has turned into now $1,547,435.82. So just leaving it in the market, placing it aside in the form of real estate. Are these numbers going to fluctuate? Yes. Is your strata fee going to go up? Yes. Is your property tax going to go up? Yes. Is your rent going to go up? Oh, yes. We're going to get into that in a second. But all things aside, the property is now worth $1,547 million. So you have gained a total equity growth of $597,435.82 just by making the purchase. Statistically speaking, using the last 10 years conservatively and plugging them into an equation today. So yes, you have paid that $1,000, $1,010 for 120 months, and that's $121,000, okay? That's obviously money that you have had to pay also. You've helped it along here. However, now, just in equity growth, you've got $597,435. That's not how much principal you have paid. That's not how much equity you have built by way of making those monthly payments as well. That's simply market growth. So your 285 down has been added to over the 10 years, paying down that 88,000. Let's make some big number claims here, some big equation that someone online is going to call me out for. So your 285 down plus your 10 years of payment is now 373, plus your simple capital appreciation, 970 from 285 to 970 in equity growth over that 10 years. So let's just take the basic market growth here of 597. The whole point of this equation. Now we're 10 years later. Hopefully your hairline has fared better than mine in the last 10 years. And now, step 4, we're in a better position because we've got that extra $597,000 that if we now want, keep in mind, you only paid off $88,000 of your principal, so you still have $411,975.15 owing on your principal mortgage, which we started at $500. But you've gained the $597 in the investment property. You're going to take the difference of still outstanding $411,000 off the top of your investment property, pay off your principal residence. Now you're in the clear. Hopefully, so your principal residence is paid. Yes, you still owe taxes and all that sort of stuff every year, but the mortgage is gone, no more monthlies. Now, let's take it up another step. Did you purchase this investment property within a corporation? If you did, you don't have to, but if you did, now maybe you're even making money out of a corporation. Now you're not having to pull that money out of your corporation to pay yourself every month to pay the mortgage on your principal residence every month, and you've kept everything in the corporation for this. So there's that tax shelter additionally to now help you assist pay this guy. Now, not to mention on all of this sort of stuff, forget about the corporate stuff. You've now earned, just by owning it, statistically speaking, enough principal growth in the investment property to pull it back out and pay off your home mortgage. Never forgetting that if you then went to sell your home, you have the biggest tax break in Canada, which is your principal residence tax-free sale. Capital growth tax, none there, as we know. So you sell, and if you lived in it, you don't pay tax on the capital gains of your principal residence. So maybe you decide to just sit back and live without a mortgage. Maybe you decide to sell it. That's now up to you. And instead of paying all the money down at the start, we now have a paid off, to just put it towards the mortgage, we now have a paid off principal residence, and we have an investment property. And in the last 10 years also, I cannot for the life of me find true numbers on this, surprisingly, but from what I have gathered, median rent in Vancouver in the last 10 years, all I can find is that it's up 74%. So at a worst case scenario, you were charging the $3,900 a month, you're now renting at, we'll say 75% higher than that. In the last 12 months, rent is up 24% for 2 bedrooms alone. So you can see how the capital growth has expanded, the rental return in it has expanded as well, and basically you've had to sit there and just live your life for the last 10 years anyway. You will have a few tenant turnovers. Hopefully the place doesn't get trashed, but the equity has built up, your rental increases have gone up, and hopefully for your sake, a few tenants have left so you can actually keep up with the market instead of these pitiful increases that they allow. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But what we have done here today is taken a little bit of a risk. We've purchased the investment property, we have built the equity, we've pulled equity, paid off our principal residence. Now that's done, and we've still got an investment property to play with, or sell, or let's do it again, or creating options is key. That's it. How long was that? Jesus Christ, it's supposed to be like 8 or 10. Okay, if you have any questions, I'm sure you're dying to combat my math. Please comment below. I am Jay McInnes on Instagram. Love to have you over there. And I will see you next week for hopefully a shorter video. And we can't even promote this video now because it is past the 15 goddamn minutes.